Today we're at the headquarters of the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce, known here in Indonesia as Kadin. In a couple of weeks' time, 20 senior delegates from Kadin will be coming to the UK with a view to having high-level meetings with some senior British CEOs, understanding what developments there are in relation to our technologies, and also looking at how we can form common approach to different types of policy to improve the trade and investment environment for the benefit of both of our countries. I have the pleasure of interviewing the Vice Chairman of Kadin, Anindya Bakrie, and also the Chief Executive Officer of Bakrie and Brothers, a very high-profile business with a very diversified range of sectoral interest. He'll be talking to us about the aspirations of Kadin on this trip, and also about the wider relationship between the United Kingdom and the Republic of Indonesia, particularly during these times when the UK is focused on some sort of divorce with the European Union. The Kadin Delegate Tour of Europe, it's a tour of many countries, and the UK is the starting point of the tour. But how important actually of those countries is the UK leg?
I think UK is certainly very important and quite exciting also. There's a lot of news about UK these days, right? And for an Indonesian, big news, politics are not something new, but to go there ourselves, to talk to the stakeholders, I think that's the best way to see what can be done together even more. Because like what people say, when you see a lot of noise, you actually see a lot of opportunities that people don't know, because people actually get turned off because of that.
You've very carefully avoided using the B word, Brexit, so perhaps I'll have the license to use that. Are there any concerns among your group coming to the UK and the timing the way it is? I mean, so much of the bandwidth of business, of government is being taken up on the Brexit issues, and of course, still now, three years and 3 months on, nobody really honestly can say what the outcome is going to be, or if the outcome is going to be October the 31st. So, has it been a concern?
Of course, it is a topic of a discussion, a big topic of discussion. It is, no matter what, something shocking since whatever, 12 to 18 months ago, right? But I come to UK quite regularly, talk to people, and I agree with you. People have different opinions about it. Nobody can predict exactly how it's going to pan out in the future. But at the same time, like I said previously, when you go to UK, you know it is the house of industrialization. It is the house for higher learning, education, and also, high tech. And those are the know-how that we like as a country, on top of capital, that can help us to go to the next level, whether you call it industrialization 4.0 or go up the value chain. Those are the know-how that we need, and UK has plenty of it because they have been around doing that for at least 2 centuries.
That's really good to hear, and it leads very nicely onto my next question, which is more about the Republic of Indonesia and UK bilateral ties. One way or another, the UK is going to be out of the EU sooner or later. How would you like to see the ties developing post-Brexit, post-EU relationship?
I think we should see every single challenges as an opportunity. Currently, if I'm not mistaken, I think roughly about $1.5 billion export and then import $1.2 billion. I think that number can actually grow because now at least, if that's a direction that UK is going to go, we respect that. But as long as there is a clarity and certainty, UK is certainly a destination, and Indonesia is also a destination for the English people, right? For example, we still have nice 300,000 tourists from UK coming every year. We'd like that to be more. And on the other hand, we have 4,500 students each year going to UK for higher learning, right? So I think the people-to-people relationship is there. It is just how to focus on certain things that we can increase trade, investment, and one more thing, as I said, industrialization. How can UK help Indonesia to go up the value chain in this era of trade frictions, so to speak.
So when people think of Indonesia and think of what Indonesia exports, I suppose the things that come to mind are textiles, tourism.
Right.
Help me out here. What would other main things be?
I would say maybe furniture they would think about, right? And then I'm not quite sure how much palm oil or what have you that is being consumed, but yes, those are the things.
Yeah, that would be fairly considerable for sure. But there must be a lot of unexploited export opportunities. And perhaps you could share what you see as what they are, and as an organisation, Kadin, the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce, what it is doing to try to help its members to internationalise and take advantage of those export opportunities.
So first, looking at the big picture, I think in the next 25 years, Indonesian economy is getting more complex, right? So it may not be as straightforward as domestic consumption based or just export oriented of raw materials. They're gonna go up the value chain, so to speak. If you have a coal mine, you are already thinking about power plant all the way to coal to gas, right? And then if you have nickel, you already think about aluminum, stainless steel, and so on, right? But in order to get there, other than capital, as we discussed in the beginning, the know-how, the technology, the human resource are very important. In fact, I have always believed that technology is somewhere out there, right? And then money is somewhere out there. The question is how much and how soon it can come to you. But when it comes to know-how, human resource is something that you just have to, go through the experience before in order for you to get to, the know-how stage, right? That's basically where Indonesia can benefit a lot from UK. I do believe that tourism is a big thing for both countries, right? Indonesia certainly has all the nice destinations, Bali and beyond, but UK has its attractiveness. The sport industry, we can talk about it later on, but is a big thing, and just like how another Western country, a big one, promoting itself via film on the culture that result in a lot of people-to-people relationship. Sports is one way UK get a lot of the excitement within the two countries, and that is an industry.
Yeah,
and it's not a small one; it's a world class, right? And that's something that we can also learn, other than technology for machinery, how to run much more efficient production line, and also some other technology for consumer goods. Those things are there. But don't forget that Indonesia has 265 million people, and half of them are below 30 years old. So not only they are good market, but they can be also good partners for entrepreneurs, right? Because they want to build something new, and the mobile connectivity in Indonesia is also very high.
Yeah. Okay, you raised sports. We won't push it to the end. We'll bring it forward now. I think it's relatively well known that you and a colleague, partner, have been an investor in a British football club, an English football club, Oxford United. I suppose the first thing I've got to ask you about Anin is why Oxford United?
Right.
I mean, the ties went for Leicester, Americans have gone for Manchester United and Liverpool. Why Oxford United?
First of all, I'm not quite sure whether it's public, but one of family members invested in Leicester City before the tie.
Okay.
So you can see the pattern and the aspiration and the hope behind it. But Oxford is certainly a nice city, right? It's not too far from London. It's very near, 45 minutes away. It's probably the next big town after London in the area in terms of the people living there, activities, business activities. And it makes sense that one day, if the performance improves, people actually go there. Not alone, it has a lot of colleges in Oxford area. And we like to focus on the Division 1, which is basically the third division or second below EPL, because it's something that is somewhat sweet spot to go up the ladder. It's not easy. We are trying to work with our partners to get there, but it's something that if you can get there, you will bring some legacy, right? And to us, it's much better play than going for the big league with all the risk and reward associated with it. And plus, people there are very nice. They want their community to grow, and I think that's something always good factors for investors.
So I'm sure that somewhere in the psyche of that decision of getting into football in England